Hi there, good evening. Welcome to State of Affairs here on GHOne Television. I am Francis Abban. It's another Thursday night, and today we have a very interesting conversation coming up for you. Our guest is a man who is very experienced in governance, in politics, and even in the arena of sports. His life embodies three words, as have been made to understand: service, sacrifice, and selflessness. Tonight, we will try and unpack that and speak about the things that affect us as Ghanaians the most and seek to find a way forward in this democracy. This Fourth Republic is 30 years old. This Fourth Republic is 30 years old. What have we done right? What have we done wrong? And what is the way forward? Then we'll talk about the matter of politics. Are we getting better at it? Or there are things we need to stop and realign going forward? In sports administration, what has to change? Ghana has qualified for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. What do we have to do differently to not just show up, but give a good account of ourselves? And even possibly, I have said somewhere that we can win the World Cup if we want to. But can we? What will we have to do? We will talk about that tonight. My guest tonight is a civil engineer by training and by profession. He's a career politician, and he's also one of Ghana's best sports journalists in the country. Kwabena Agyepong, KAA, is my guest tonight. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Francis. I mean, it's a wonderful introduction.
I thank you for joining us. I just hope you're well. Is everything okay?
I'm fine. I'm very fine. Alive and kicking.
Okay.
I'm a very happy-go-lucky personality, so I like to enjoy life. Very effervescent. Look on the bright side of things.
Yes.
And again, even if you look through the Bible in Philippians, it says you have to look for the interests of others. You know, once you care for people and you can put a smile on someone's face in a day, I think that you've had a good day. And that should be the basis of what we do as a country.
Okay, so briefly, what's your regular day like? Because some will say you're not in the thick of mainstream politics today, even though you are a career politician. What's your day-to-day like right now?
Well, day-to-day, I mean, I'm running my small consultancy firm. As you said, I'm a civil engineer.
Yeah.
So although I've tapered off my actual involvement in engineering, I have a small team of young engineers who do work, and I just direct what they do. The past close to 4 years, I was the executive director of the Ghana Institution of Engineering.
Yeah.
And I'm still the West African executive director of the Federation of Engineering Organizations, but that is more an honorary position because it's not too active. But at least I have a lot of work to do. I mean, this afternoon I've been taking part in an international online discussion because I am a member of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations Committee on Engineering and the Environment. Okay. And we're discussing issues about climate change and how engineering organizations like the GHOne and others in the African continent and the rest of the world can impact on their various respective ministries of environment to see what we are doing to what we are doing to ensure that adaptation and mitigation of climate change impacts, the negative impacts on our society. And I quite recall not quite long ago what happened in Keta and some of those coastal areas are having the really negative impacts of the sea level rise because of global warming. Okay.
So I want us to start our conversation tonight on something that's happened this week. And I draw from that page because you were once upon a time like us, a journalist, a sports journalist.
Sports broadcaster.
Sports broadcaster. This week, the latest Press Freedom Index, the report was released, and Ghana has dropped 30 places from where we were in 2021. There are many reasons that are given for it: economic conditions, legal framework, safety for journalists, among a host of many things. Yeah. This has been our worst performance in 17 years. This drop we've seen to the 60th position. What do you make of press freedom in Ghana today?
Well, first and foremost, I've never heard of that index before. I haven't really followed our performance according to that index that you talked about. But I think it's useful for us to go back into history. We tend to forget, especially the young generation, the journey that Ghana has traveled to get where we are. And as you said, we are 30 years. You know, if you look back at the previous 35 years and the amount of military takeovers and the confusion that ensued in the country and the suffering, then we should thank God for small mercies that we are where we are today. And that's why, one, political leaders, stakeholders, the citizens should not take our freedoms for granted at all. And the media, being the fourth estate of the realm,
yes,
you have a special role to play. And I have to say that I'm very disappointed with the state of the media today, the conduct of people in the media. And the situation has been worsened by the social media, where anybody, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just put a camera, his own phone, and have a YouTube channel and say sometimes the most outrageous things. And that's something we should guard against, because we all know what happened in Rwanda. It started from some broadcast stations and the inferno that engulfed that country. So as Ghanaians, we have to cherish what we have. We have to celebrate our diversity, but emphasize the things that bring us together, our cohesion. So we should think in a collegial way, to think about our collective security. But I think there's too much partisanship in this country. And I've said before, and I want to repeat this, that in this country, we do politics for 4 years. There's no country that happens that way. After an election, governments have a bit of a honeymoon.
Of an off-season.
That's right. But because of the media, I mean, they have decided to, everything they politicize it. So all the morning shows, there's one from the NDC, one from the MPP, and I think that is lazy journalism.
Well, all except mine, because my breakfast show is nothing like that.
I'm sorry about that. Not all, most. I should have said most. Quite. You know, so we have a country to protect, and sometimes we forget the struggles that our forebears went through to bring about this democracy.
Okay.
And to the personal cost, many of us, especially me myself, suffered. You know, I lost my father, 30th June, 1982, to be 40 years this June, you know, as a 20-year-old. And it was tough for me. And that energized me for me to be able to play a role, whatever role, to return the country to the kind of governance that we have.
Today.
It's absolutely vital, especially the politicians, the younger generation. The basics and the foundation for what they do should be the three things I talked about: service, sacrifice, and selflessness. It's absolutely vital. If you don't have those character traits, you don't have no business being around politics. The empathy, feeling for those who don't have, maybe because of what I went through when I lost my dad. And so I know how it is when you haven't had a meal for 6 hours, how it is when you don't have a place to put your head. But it's important that we think about one another and protect one another.
Now, that empathy is something that catches my attention. Now, I want to ask this in context. In this report that was released on safety, they talked about journalist safety having to deteriorate sharply in recent years. In 2020, reporters covering the effectiveness of the anti-COVID-19 measures were attacked by security forces. Also, political leaders are again making death threats against investigative journalists. Nearly all cases of law enforcement officers attacking journalists are not pursued. And the matter of Ahmed Hussein Swale is very fresh on the minds of every single journalist. It's at the heart of what we do. If we've seen a journalist die, killed in cold blood, just about 3-4 steps away from his home, and these years down the line, we've not seen proper justice come through, it's a worry for every journalist.
It is a worry. It is a worry. And I think we have to put some more pressure on our security agencies, our intelligence gathering network, as to find out why they haven't been able to unravel these things. And many times in this country, murders happen. Nobody gets to know who really did it. Again, even as far back as 1982, nobody really got to the bottom of the matter. You understand? And it's something that we have to improve as politicians, as nationals and patriots of our country. And the journalists have a major role to play. But we have a situation where I don't want to justify what has happened, but the journalists have to up their game. These days, when you listen to the radio, the amount of chaos, the noise, the attacks, the insults. In fact, people think that your mark as a politician will be graded how venomous you can be on radio or television. And I think that's completely unwarranted. We have to show civility. It's un-Ghanaian. We should respect authority, respect seniority. You can listen to attacks, direct insults on chiefs, on the president. I mean, it's happened across political parties. And sometimes senior political figures, some party chairmen, sit on national radio, use unprintable words and ethical conduct, and they are being cheered on. It's something that affects all of us, all the political parties. I'm not going to leave anybody out.
The NPP, the NDC.
Yes, it affects all the political parties. And I think we should stop. There should be a critical mass of patriots, decent, right-thinking people in charge of this country. And once we continue along this road, what happens is good people who can contribute to politics are running away from it. And so therefore we are not careful to be populated by people who don't have the nation at heart.
Okay.
It's absolutely vital that we guard the process. We ensure that there's a penalty regime in this country. And when there are infractions, people are punished for these infractions. We don't do that, the impudence will continue. Okay? So yes, those things that are an overhang from the revolutionary era, when people in military uniform or in police uniform think that they can manhandle civilians, including journalists. I saw a video doing the rounds on one of the social media outlets. I mean, this guy was defenseless. The police, you have him under control, he's handcuffed, and they were still beating him.
Last week, there was a gentleman here, a journalist, David Tamaklo, was arrested in cars because he had they had suspicion that he was about to publish a story that will cause great public concern, or it's a matter of national security. Was cuffed, held for a number of hours, later sent to his home. The wife and kids saw their own in cuffs, and they were coming for pictures in their house. How do we stop this? And who needs to speak the loudest about it? The journalists have done their bit. What about leadership? What about political
All
leadership?
of us have to speak loudest about it.
The president, perhaps?
Everyone. I mean, he's the commander-in-chief. It's unacceptable. A journalist, what crime has he committed? Even you think there's a likelihood that he's going to commit a crime and you want to intervene, fine. But you don't need to send him handcuffed. He has no arms. He's no threat to anybody. You have strong guys around him. He would not be able to run away from you. Why do you want to humiliate him? Why do you want to do that? I mean, there are times I've seen people put behind bars in this country for nothing. And people were cheering the police for arresting a DC. I was livid and angry. Livid and angry. Okay, yes, it may be that the DC might have been wrong in the way he reacted to some of these things. Look, if you have a motor infringement, you should be given a fine. In other parts of society, the world, you are given some points on your license. The second time, maybe you are given a fine. The third time, your license is taken away from you. But why do we have to waste the time of the courts with some of these little infractions? The smallest thing, and right now that we are trying to digitize, I think the police should have handheld devices to be able to institute instant penalties and fines for people who undertake motoring offenses. Right there. Now the Ghana card is available. Everything is linked. So your car number, your driver's license, you should be given a fine. And that should be put on your insurance. The insurance company will pay. The next time you go, your premium is increased. It will hit you in the pocket, you will think. But the speed with which, or the glee with which we take people to court, to waste the court's time, to waste everybody's time, instead of financially penalizing them and raising money for the police. You go to the New York police prisons, I mean, they make most of their money from traffic offenses.
Yes.
And we can do that here. Raise money for the police, let them be more professional. The police and the security services, that's why we call them services. They are supposed to be our friends. When you go outside and the policemen are on the beat, they are smiling, they're looking at you, they talk to you. You see them as someone who is protecting you. But at the least chance, opportunity, they are attacking people. And I think it's wrong. So something has to be done about police training. I quite remember I spoke to one of my colleagues who's in the police. I said, who is the head of the police training academy? It's absolutely vital that something is going on there that we have to fish out.
In terms of training?
In terms of
what
training.
About recruits
in terms of even respect.
Even getting in?
In terms of respect
Yes.
for themselves, for their job, for the crown that they are wearing, and so that they behave in civility and with dignity. With dignity.
It's not also about the kind of people we are recruiting into our security services.
Well, people have said
and
that.
They've been talking about
I have
politicizing that space as well.
No, well, it may be, but that's why there's training. You pick people and then you train them. You go to the police academy, you train them, you give them the route act, what they are supposed to do, what they cannot do. There are a lot of times you see people, and even the way they are dressed, their posture, there has to be something. They have to be professional. Believe in the organization they are serving. Believe in the country they are serving. And when you are right, you don't have to shout and attack a driver or any person. You have to be decent. Invite the person quietly. Things are done right. But I think that we have to improve policing in this country. We have to improve journalism practice in this country. And especially those of you who have the opportunity to run these morning shows. I mean, these days, you listen to some of the programs. I've had the opportunity to run programs. In those days, you got a little training from the BBC, Hilton File, and those, people are they really doing a program or they are joking? Sometimes you can't tell the difference. If you are reading the news, read the news. You can't express opinion and start cracking jokes and casting innuendos here and there. And especially with the local language, you think they are running commentary. It's not. I don't know what the National Media Commission is doing about it. And there are other more infractions at night. Not even at night. Sometimes in the morning.
Yeah.
I've seen some television station showing some films that are not appropriate for the time. And now everybody has a license to run a television station. I don't know what has happened to the National Communications Authority. Who's in charge of issuing those licenses? Because you see people marketing, doubling money. Is that acceptable?
It's not. But it's happening.
On national television. And these people have licenses. Come and see me, I will give you this medication. All sorts of things are being peddled. And at night, it's terrible. I mean, some of the things you hear, the profanity, it's totally un-Ghanaian. So we are losing it. Our values, people may say I'm a bit conservative, but I think we should train our kids properly. What they listen to, what they are exposed to, should be something we should be worried about.
Okay.
We cannot allow what is happening in the name of press freedom. I mean, go through the channels. I think perhaps Ghana is
Is it the absence of the broadcasting though that's making things the way they are? Maybe that can bring.
I think sometimes there
there
can be self-regulation. The Independent Broadcasters Association, is it GIBA?
GIBA, yes.
I mean, what are they doing? You are the owners of these stations. Do you like it when people mount your platforms to just malign others without any basis, destroy people? Unprintable words, and nothing happens in this country? It is wrong. And I think the media should rise up. Should be more professional, more factual, and more caring.
Okay.
The glee with which we want to bring people down. I know all over the world, journalists are known for tripping up politicians and everybody. That's why you have to be careful. That's accepted. When you do something wrong, it has to be exposed. But the conduct of some of the stations, I can't believe it. I don't think you should even have 24-hour religious channels. No. You can have religion as part of the program lineup in a normal station, so that if a church or something buys a slot in the morning for morning devotion, that is acceptable.
Okay.
You understand? But you see some of the pastors, the kinds of things they are saying.
Okay.
It's
so that's what we need to do as a media. What about what the state has to do to protect journalists?
That's why I've mentioned the National Media Commission.
Yes.
The Ministry of Information, and of course, all backstops at the desk of the president.
Yes.
He should be interested in that. Absolutely. He should be interested in that. So I think we have a lot of work to do to improve and to change the narrative, but we all have to do a lot of self-analysis, criticism,
Okay. I want to ask the last question before we look to other matters. In this report, it talks about to protect their jobs and their security, and by this mean the media, the journalists increasingly resort to self-censorship as the government shows itself intolerant of criticism. Do you see that this government is intolerant of criticism?
That's an interesting question. You see, the job of the media is to put the government on its toes. Government has a responsibility to market its positive sides. I think that sometimes we stray over that fine line, and all of us have to work to improve. It's absolutely vital. Unless you can give me particular examples of what you've talked about.
Of intolerance.
Of intolerance. I cannot say for a fact that on this particular score, the government was being intolerant or not. You understand? What is important is that we, the journalists, we should understand the role that we are playing. The politicians should also know the journalists are doing their work. Most often than not, journalists have become overly political, and the politicians have become overly defensive of their territory, and it doesn't help in the building of this society. But if you can give me a particular example, then I'll be able to say that. But I think at the end of the day, if all of us have that sense of patriotism and we put the interest of Ghana first, it will ensure that we moderate whatever we do, whatever reactions we may have, whether we are government or journalists. You know, there are some media houses, it happens in the world. We all know CNN is liberal, the Fox is conservative. There's nothing wrong with that, having a little bias for a political party or the other. That is something that happens all over the world. But we have to respect the boundaries of press freedom and what we do and attach a lot of common sense to it.
Okay, so this is the point where we'll go for our very first break. You're watching State of Affairs here on GHOne Television. My guest tonight is Kwabena Agyepong, KAA. After the break, we'll talk about the state of our politics 30 years on in this Fourth Republic. Are we getting better or we're getting worse? And what do we have to do about it if we are getting worse? Quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Which is just May 2022 a lot more exciting with the Bell Chill and Win promotion. Simply buy bottles of your favorite Bell Beverages products like Tamarinda, Bell Cola, Puka, Big Boss, Squeeze, Breeze, Bell Malt, and more. Remove at least 20 labels, put them in an envelope with your name and contact. Drop them at any Bell Beverages depot or accredited distributor across the country. Voila! You stand a chance of winning fantastic prizes in the Bell Chill and Win monthly draws announced on TV, radio, and social media. Prizes include home furniture, appliances, hampers of Bell products, shopping vouchers, and the grand prize of a Kia Picanto in the final raffle draw. Remember, the more envelopes you drop, the more your chances of winning. Bell Chill and Win. Everyone is a winner. For more information, call 0544-33-5800 or 0544-33-5900. Follow at Bell Beverages on all social media platforms. T's and C's apply. Take note, Bell Beverages are now available on Jumia Ghana. Bell Beverages, refreshing the nation. This advert is FDA approved.
Money means so many things to so many people, but no matter what you use it for or what it may mean to you, money is the one thing that keeps us going and makes our lives a little bit brighter. Just Momo it everywhere you go.
Kwesi pa. Nansa be na unumi.
Whiskey.
Wash. All of a sudden, my voice I hear different. And when you saw a call. Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock Whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Shale, honey near their frau. Black Rock Whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me.
Barman.
Barman, bring my friend one Black Rock Whiskey.
Black Rock Whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the hell for Sikanton Sata?
Black Rock Whiskey. Tabby, the feel is smoothness, no.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
The song is survive.
It's a hit, I tell ya.
Everybody is talking
You know, say what? So, ladies, I want to introduce you to something special. Just wait for me. So here we go is the Bell Cola and the Bell Squeeze. Just try it.
Never a dull moment this festive season with Bell Cola and Bell Squeeze now available in cans. Feel the fizz as it excites your taste buds as every sip takes you on an adventure. And they're perfect mixes for your cocktails and mocktails.
Say what?
Grab a can of Bell Cola and Bell Squeeze in every shop and pub near you. Another member of the Bell Can range and a quality product from Bell Aqua. Bell Cans, refreshing style, taste of adventure. This advert is FDA approved. Bell Cans are now available on Junior Gum.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching State of Affairs here on GHOne Television. I am Francis Aban. My guest tonight is the former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, a known trained civil engineer, a career politician, and also a man known for his great works in sports broadcasting over the years. Kwabena Agyepong, KEA. KEA. Okay, now let's talk about our country, Ghana, politics and governance. In this Fourth Republic, it's 30 years old.
Yep.
That means that we've seen political parties campaign, come into power, lose elections, win elections. There's a certain turnover in the last 30 years.
Right.
The nature of elections have even evolved from 92 up until now.
Right.
But in this intervening years, are we getting better with the quality of leadership and the quality of democracy that we're practicing in this republic?
First and foremost, my passion for the transformation of our country, Ghana, is very profound.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the motivation for getting into politics at a very young age. It wasn't easy at the time. As a public service worker, young engineer with the Ghana Highway Authority, having to become the face of the GHOne campaign, doing the party political broadcast when you're still a public service worker. When we hadn't transitioned from military rule, we still had a military leader.
Yeah.
It took guts, sacrifice to be able to do that. It wasn't easy. There were elders around who were scared. People had been driven off into exile. Others had died. It was dangerous in those days. And that's why I'm saying that it's important that we situate the journey, the political journey of our country, Ghana, over the last 30 years properly. Because you, the young generation, you take it for granted. It is not for granted. In those days, there was only one national television station or radio station, GBC. And it was completely controlled by the Secretary of Information. So after 1992, the election of 1992, and many people have forgotten that in 1992, the presidential election was held in November, while the parliamentary election was held in December.
Yeah.
It was all calculated to suit the military leader who was transitioning to become president of our country. And we were so angry with how it was run. Because in those days, you couldn't have any access to the polling stations, no control. It was run by the commandos, and sometimes the results were not even declared in situ. Boxes were taken, and we were asked to go to the Independence Square, just behind you here, and go and wait for the Electoral Commission to declare the result. Those were those days. So the first election, in my view, was virtually a non-election, but we had to deal with it because we wanted to transition into
Democracy.
a democracy. So after that, the MPP wrote the stolen verdict, and we decided that we would not participate in the parliamentary election to send a strong signal to the world community, to the donor community, that we're dissatisfied with the arrangements for that election. There were people who didn't like it, but those of us, the young Turks, in those days, we supported Professor GHOne, and I was part of that National Executive Committee meeting that took the decision. I was representing the Young Executive Forum at the time on the National Executive Committee, and we supported that decision. That decision went a long way to push the international community to start the reforms. That's when we started the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC.
Yes.
And again, I was a rep of the MPP on IPAC in 1994. It's a result of those reforms that things improved. That in 1996 was the first time the Electoral Commission allowed us into what became known as the strong room.
Yes.
That was the first time parties were being allowed to monitor the process. You know, so if you take what we went through at the time to today,
where we are,
there's a multiplicity of radio stations. Radio stations will even announce polling station results. So it's less likely to be manipulated. Then we can say that we've come very far electorally. Now, what I'm worried about now is our own attitude as Ghanaians and the leaders that we've had and how they've positioned themselves. Ghanaians like yes men.
Yes men.
Yes. And Ghanaians are also quick to go around the leader and make him feel bigger than what he is. But a good leader should have people around you who can look you in the eye and say, we think with respect, you're going the wrong way. Can we change tack? It's absolutely vital. And we need to rebuild our parties, to have the strength and the people who can look into the leadership of our parties and speak from their heart the truth about what we are doing. So I think that is what I'm worried about. Trying to create personality cults out of political leaders. I think it's something that we should stop. And especially we, the MPP, we were never known for that. Because in the times past, we had strong chairmen like B.J. Darocha, Peter Alajete, Odoi Sykes. You know, these are very made men already. Big lawyers who had good reputation. So they would look into the presidential candidate's eye and be able to speak with respect and get some work done. That is what I think we may be lacking in Ghana now. Across parties.
Personality cult.
Yes, I think we should stop it. It's not only in politics, even in business. People make money, nobody knows the source of it, and they be all of a sudden
celebrated without question.
Without question. And everybody is running around them. It is wrong. We have to have principles that we believe in as a people. Have to have pride in our nationality. And have to have pride in proper things. Let's do things properly, well structured. That's the kind of country. So we bring vitality back to governance. There should be a new era of thinking that puts Ghana first. Political parties are not supposed to just be in power to run errands for ourselves. That's not what we are supposed to do. I don't believe in that. I believe that once elected, Ghana
is first. Not party.
Not party. Once elected, Ghana, you are the president of the Republic of Ghana. Of course, there's no doubt that, party people may get a few favors here and there, but the amount of times we've tried to intervene, especially in the public services, and it started from time immemorial, There are a lot of public institutions now that have been overly politicized, which we don't need to. These are technical institutions.
Like which ones?
Oh, many of them. Whether it's my own place, Ghana Highway Authority, or VRA, or ECG, or any of these big, you're a young engineer, you go and work at BUI, you expect to rise to become chief executive. Of course, the president has the right to appoint, but you can appoint from within the organization, people who have worked within the organization, or at least maybe you can appoint to the top chief executive, because that is important for the president to know what is happening, to have confidence with. But now, the kinds of things that you hear, those who are running the health insurance at the local level, sometimes they are party officers, it is wrong. We have enough Ghanaians who are trained in finance and other things, and health administration, to aspire to those offices. I think we should reduce the political interference in the public setups. It's very important. I'm very passionate about that. I know quite a number of people think this is a bit controversial. I want to talk about that. Again, issues like the amount of Supreme Court judges we have in the country. I don't know what the law says. I haven't looked at it. But a country like Ghana shouldn't have more than 9.
Shouldn't have more than 9.
We shouldn't have more.
There should be a cap on it.
There should be a cap on it.
What does the absence of that do to our judiciary?
I think I think there should be a cap on it.
Yeah.
And even maybe we should adopt the American model where, because with law, you get better with age. And if you are physically okay, maybe they should wait till you pass out. And then you are replaced. You understand? Because in some jurisdictions, they wait till the judge either excuse himself because of health reasons, he's incapable of working.
Yeah.
You know, because I think 70 years for the judges is too low. You know, that's when they've gained
You should go above to like 80.
Of course. I mean, look at the member of council, say, former president of the Bar Association of Professional Bodies, Sam Okujeto, very strong at 84. If he's serving on the Supreme Court, why can't he serve? Why can't he serve? So there are some of these things we can change. You know, even the issue about ministers. I have never believed that we should exceed the 19 that the Constitution says.
19
cabinet ministers. Something I've never believed in, that we should have no more than 19. If you read the Constitution, the cabinet is like the advisory body of the president. They work with the president. I think that there shouldn't be some ministers who are not.
As we have it now, ministers are well over 80.
Well, previous governments have had more and other things. I have spoken against it, not today, even when I was General Secretary. I said it. This is a personal thing that I feel strongly about.
Yeah.
And I think it has to be bipartisan. Perhaps, and when I was in government, I used to argue with a few of our colleagues, you know, the change in nomenclature of ministries, you know, what is in the name? You know, if you want to place emphasis on something, it's how you run the ministry that will determine what kind of emphasis you are placing, not the name, just changing the name. And it has happened many times in this country, and I don't like it. I think we should stop it. We should have perhaps a bipartisan approach. Parties should speak together and say, look, any president comes, knows that he has 19 ministers to appoint. And if it is Ministry of Works and Housing, let it remain Works and Housing. If it is transport, I'm a civil engineer. I quite remember with President Kufuor, I was his press secretary, and I was raising a few issues with, you know, pulling out railways and aviation.
Yes.
Because I think it's transport, it should remain transport. The only thing that should come out of transport, in my view, is roads and highways, because it is central to our development as a young country.
Okay.
So that can come out of transport. But the others shouldn't stand alone.
Should stay the way they are.
I mean, agriculture, fisheries and aquaculture should be part of agriculture.
Made as one.
As one, in my view.
Yes.
Okay, so those are strong views I have on these matters. And I think that after 30 years, we've been in government, out of government, back in government, the NDC. And I said, when I was General Secretary to the NDC at their Congress in Kumasi in 2015, that for the foreseeable future, these are the two major parties. And the way we treat each other, the respect we show each other, will go a long way to see how we run the country. And I remember telling Esiri Nketia in 2007, when he called the 17 aspirant thieves, I said, you say that, you denigrate politics in the eyes of the Ghanaian people. And quite recently, I also heard the current chairman, Fuswampo, saying that no contribution, no chop. What's that supposed to mean? That's a shameful statement coming from a party chairman.
Okay.
You are saying that you come into office and then you think about the NDC, we will think about ourselves. What kind of attitude is that?
Well, some have explained that the logic therein is when a party is in opposition and is working towards gaining power, those who contribute are the ones who, when power is won,
then the way he put it was very, very wrong. It presented a very bad picture of political leadership.
Okay, this is the point where I have to go for a break, unfortunately. After the break, we'll wrap up on the matter of politics and look a bit to sports as well, because we're heading for a World Cup.
A World Cup, yes.
Well, can Ghana win the World Cup? We will try and answer that question tonight.
song is a vibe.
It's a hit, I tell ya.
Everybody is talking
You
about
know, say what? So, ladies, I want to introduce you to something special. Just wait for me. So here we go. Is the bell cola and the bell squeeze. Just try it.
Never a dull moment this festive season with Bell Cola and Bell Squeeze now available in cans. Feel the fizz as it excites your taste buds as every sip takes you on an adventure. And they're perfect mixes for your cocktails and mocktails.
Say what?
Grab a can of Bell Cola and Bell Squeeze in every shop and pub near you. Another member of the Bell Can range and a quality product from Bell Aqua. Bell Cans, refreshing style, taste of adventure. This advert is FDA approved. Bell Cans are now available on Junior Ghana.
What?
Smooth, refreshing, and made with real apples. Hunter's refreshing apple cider. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 or recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Excuse me, please hurry up. I don't have enough time.
Hello.
Driver, you don't have an AC in your car. Your tire is bad and you are here chilling. I'll bet you Polish.
I got a message for you.
Madam, one more.
Bell Cans is perfect for you. Refreshing.
Feel the refreshing taste of Bell Fruit Cocktail in a can this festive season with a blend of fruit extracts and flavors that hit just right. It will always do the magic on a hot steaming day.
Stop. Thanks. Who said it's for you? It's for Bell Fruit Cocktail. It costs so rough.
Tell you.
Bell Fruit Cocktail is on point.
Bell Cans, refreshing style. Another quality product from Bell Aqua. This advert is FDA approved. Bell Cans are now available on Junior.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching State of Affairs here on GHOne Television. I am Francis Abba, and our guest tonight is Kwabena Agyepong, KAA, the former General Secretary of the MPP. And we've talked largely about 30 years on from our fourth Republican dispensation in this democracy, what's gone wrong and what we have to do better. Before we close this chapter and on the matter of politics, you worked closely with former President Kufuor. You were one-time General Secretary. Yes, a lot happened under that bridge. Maybe for it's over for another day. But is there any part of you that wants to be president?
Yeah, I think you should go back to 2007 when I talked about the CD Nketiah's comment. I was the youngest of the 17 aspirants at the time. You remember that?
Yes.
So I've done it before. I've tried
to do it again?
It's most likely I will do it.
For 2024?
For 2024.
You want to lead the MPP as flag bearer heading into the 2024 elections?
Well, you want me to make a declaration here?
I'm asking.
No.
You want to?
The culture of Ghana is such that, I have people I have to talk to before I make these public.
But you still have that ambition?
It's always been there. It's always been there. It's not about ambition to be president. Ambition to transform the country. I love this country immensely. And I think that we can get it done. It's not impossible. But we need to have a lean, mean government machinery that delivers for the people of Ghana. And we have to cut a lot of waste. We have to do it. And it is a possibility. We can do it. And that vitality that we need to drive this country, for people to have renewed confidence in politics and political administration in this country, is absolutely vital. To inspire the population. You talk to a lot of young guys, they are not so sure, getting interested in politics, or they get a bit disillusioned, but this is our country. We need a critical mass of patriots, well-thinking people who have pure motives, who are determined to sacrifice, like I did as a young man. I went through a lot, just being what I was in the 90s. And those were tough times. If you were not a man, you couldn't stand up and say you are MPP. So when today I see the younger generation, they forget the struggles of our forefathers, what they went through. They have opportunities to speak to the Ghanaian people, and you take them for granted. It's something that we should guard against. Our party was known to be the party that is the party of business. Anytime we were in office, the business environment was nicer.
Is the business environment good today?
It's tough.
As proof for the MPP?
It's tough. There's no doubt. Nobody can lie about it. It's tough. But I know that the business community always has more confidence in the MPP.
Okay.
And we have been better managers of the economy.
And has the current president done enough for this record to give you enough to campaign on to lead the MPP for 2024?
Definitely. I mean, if you look at the road infrastructure, for instance, I'm a civil engineer, and I can speak on this with some authority. I've never seen any government in my life that has touched so many kilometers of road around the country, whether it is in Ketekrachi or Shama or Brekum or Wa.
You've done a lot for road infrastructure. I don't mean to cut you because of time, but does Ghana need a new constitution?
No, I don't think so.
We don't?
I don't.
No parts of it should be touched?
I don't
amendments,
think so.
major amendments?
Well, I've talked about the Supreme Court. I've talked about the ministerial thing. And then also the separation of the executive from the legislature. I think that this hybrid is not working.
It's making government
It's
ineffective.
not working, especially as the presidents that I worked with, both Kufuor and President Akufo. It's supposed to be 50% plus one, but I think they are doing about 80% from Parliament, which I don't know why.
And that's weakening Parliament?
Of course. I mean, they have to have oversight. Oversight of the executive. And I think that we should get to the point where if you want to go to Parliament, go to Parliament. People use it as a route to become ministers. And at the end of the day, you become a minister because you want to make an impact on society.
I'm out of time. Can Ghana win the World Cup?
North Macedonia beat Italy not long ago.
Yeah. So we can do it.
We can do it.
We can win the World Cup.
If I'm going to watch Ghana and Portugal, I would definitely be there.
We're getting out of that group to win the World Cup.
We can advance.
And win the World Cup.
It's a possibility. You saw what happened yesterday night?
Yeah.
In fact, I left the game about on the 82nd minute.
You mean the City Real Madrid game?
Yeah, because I've been a Real Madrid fan from
all
childhood.
Oh, you chose the best team to support.
So I left watching it. Then,
too much for you?
Yeah, and then when I got home...
It was done?
I was just trying to switch it anyway in extra time. I couldn't believe. It was very similar to what happened in the Nou Camp between Manchester and Bayern Munich.
That's true. Post 90th minute.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I am out of time.
But
we have to do this again.
We
have to do this again.
I'm always available.
But I thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure, Francis.
Kwabena Agyepong, KAA.
KAA.
Okay. So we expect you on the ticket for 2024.
You want to create news.
That's it for us tonight here on State of Affairs. Thanks for watching. I'm Francis Abin. Good night. Duvet is up next.
Hi, my name is Agyepong, Minister responsible for information. You are ultimately responsible for the information you consume. And to ensure that you consume the right kind of information, here are 3 tips to follow whenever you come across information online.